welcome to the first video probably on my channel. This is not going to be an actual trail riding video like most of the other ones will be, or a review when I get around to doing those. But this is just going to kind of be an introduction to me, to the bike, and also kind of a chance for me to play around with the camera and voice recording stuff. I was having some real trouble with it when I was trying it out earlier this week, but I think I got it dialed in. Really not going to get into too much personal details, but I'll suffice to say I am not an expert rider on or off the road. I'm not even really a good rider off-road quite yet, and that's just due to the fact that I've only been riding dual sports for about a year now. Had a street bikes for about 8 years, and finally went about a year without any motorcycles, and I was dying to get back on two wheels. And the area I'm in, Colorado Springs, just really lends itself to the dual sport adventure style kind of bikes. And as someone who had never really touched the dirt before, I was like, yeah, well, you know, let's see what all this hype is about. I thought the bikes were pretty cool. You know, I loved me some Everride videos back in the day. And so I got a Honda XR 650L. Bought it dirt cheap for 1,100 bucks. Wasn't running, had a whole bunch of issues with it. Spent like a month fixing it, getting it running again, and then started taking it on the trails. And now I've had this Kove for about 2 months, and man, it just blew all my expectations away. I was pretty nervous first bringing it home from the dealership, just because the tires don't come balanced, and on the way back I was still getting that super crazy procession of a shake as it was going, just because the wheels were out of balance. But I threw some weights on there, got them all balanced up, and now I can just pretty much hold 75-80 miles an hour all day, and it's fine. The bike does it. It's more my butt at this point that is the thing that's complaining. Oh man, I gotta air my tires down. Coming in hot at 30 psi for street riding, and I feel like I am on ice skates. Whew. Let's rip up to the top of that hill there and do it there. Get some good views. Oh, deep sand. Not great, but it's fine. We'll get over it. All right. Ain't she just a beauty? There we go. All right, let's do a little ripping. Yeah, I was you know, so inclined I might call this a midweek rips in honor of the boy Messy Rides, but can't be stealing stuff from him, especially after he's the one who, you know, told me I needed to get a GoPro for this bike. Let's try not to get dirty with the still blown fork seal. Oh, whoops. Ooh, those are not fun. These always cook my legs on the trail. Ugh. And yeah, I know someone's gonna come in here and tell me I'm doing them wrong. I get it, buddy. I preface this whole thing with I'm not a great rider off-road. Still learning. Doing my best to get better. Let's go hit a little jump. Caught some air there. Let's try to take this right-hand path. The sand will let me. That's one of the hill climbs. I can definitely do that one, no problem. This place is great for practice in the dirt. Yeah, let's go see what this other hill climb looks like. Oh yeah, she is rutted quite a bit. Damn. And I know the camera kind of flattens that out. That is damn near 45 degrees, maybe even further. That is a beast of a hill climb, especially on these stock tires that like to slide around and not get me grip on the dirt. Oh, a little sand, let the bike dance. Go out this way. Oh, stay out of the mud. Really trying not to have to clean this right before I go and ride this weekend. This weekend's ride, I will be recording, and it'll be me and my buddy summiting Mount Baldy Reservoir area, so Almagree Road, and then exploring some of the other trails in the area. This trail that I'm going to be getting video of on the weekend, it is covered in what looks to be a rock slide. And yeah, I know, I'm riding slow. I could be going fast through all this. I'm, another thing to kind of preface with before I send these poor people watching my videos into fits. I'm a very cautious kind of rider. Not to say, you know, I won't commit and twist the throttle if I need to, but just sending it around blind corners when I'm not too sure what's going on is one thing I'm not going to do ever. But you may catch my buddy doing that on video, and he pays the price for it with broken bike parts and broken his parts too. Let's go do one of those little hill climbs. Let's do this. Trying to really work on that clutch control there, seeing as last weekend when I was out on some single track, my poor clutch control is what led me to dropping the bike quite a few times. You know, I would get over an obstacle and then wind up dropping the clutch too early and stalling right at the top. The bike would fall over to the side. That is a recipe for getting gassed out quick, and I wound up having to cut my planned ride a little shorter on the amount of trails that I was doing, just because I was already so tired. Let's go this way. Tackle one more trail while I'm still full of yapping. Man, it is fun to rep this bike out. This is the stock street legal Kove 450, not the off-road version. So she is choked up to right around 42, 43 horsepower instead of the 51 or 55 that's advertised. I know I can get a 55 horsepower kill. The only thing I've done to this to really mess with the feel of the bike is just change the clickers on the suspension. I softened them up a little bit just because of how stiff the suspension comes stock. This thing, stock is, it's a race bike, right? It is not for putting along trails like I do. So the issue I was running into was it was beating me up. You know, I would sit down on the bike, try to catch my breath a little bit, recover some energy. It was beating me to hell. So I softened it up, and you know, luckily I'm heavy enough that I'm fairly certain the stock suspension works well for me. I don't know, it feels great. I'm not complaining anymore. But that was one of the early issues that I was complaining about on this bike, was feeling like I had to be standing up, riding fast, and really pushing it sometimes faster than I was comfortable with, to not have the suspension completely destroy me. But now, you know, I can sit down like this and putt along, and she does just fine. Some other things I've done are the hand guards, obviously. First thing before I even took it off-road was those. I am not trying to snap levers out here. Next was dealing with the fuel tanks. Some people might not have this issue as much as I was, because they're not going to be at super high elevation where things boil at a lower temperature. Out here in Colorado, especially riding up into the mountains, the boiling point of fluids shoots way down in temperature. So my gas was boiling in the gas tanks, and it was shooting out the charcoal canister. So first thing I did was remove charcoal canister, put proper dirt bike style vents on the gas caps, and then put a heat shield on this front right tank, and sectioned off the rear tank. So down here, got a little valve, turn that off. No gas flows from the rear to the front, because the issue was front right tank was pressurizing from the heat of the exhaust, and it was putting pressure back through that line into the back tank, forcing more gas up here that was then boiling out the top constantly, and then actually tying these front two tanks together with one vent. The T that came with the emissions equipment stock, I just put a dirt bike vent right here on it. Even if this tank does pressurize and start shooting fuel out the top, all it's going to do is first push it across the left-hand tank, and they're connected on the bottom too, so I don't have to worry as much about it shooting out the top. Well, let's just go off this way. I'm yapping too much. Whew. Sand. These stock tires hate it. Anyway, did all that, and now it is fine. Did the 3D printed rally tower, so that's how I got my phone mounted there. And then the 3D printed blinker relocation brackets. I'm also the one who designed these little covers for the holes that go where the blinkers were. Oh, I'm in second gear. Don't want to be over there. Anywho, yeah, did that 3D printed stuff for the bike, and threw some bags on the back. Called it good. You hear me keep complaining about these stock tires. They are not bad on the road, and they are not bad for 50/50 tires on the dirt. I'd actually say they perform more like 70/30 tires. But the issue is that when you're riding up here, the edge grip sucks, and the sand performance sucks, as well as deep gravel. And a lot of the single track I ride on out here has deep gravel in the corners, some sandy, sketchy sections through rivers and that kind of stuff, or little streams, and then a lot of ruts. And not being able to hold a line and being forced to always slide down into the bottom of ruts is pretty rough. Ooh, there's that sand again. not being able to hold your edge in ruts. It f***ing blows on a lot of these trails, because the worst line for a bike is at the bottom of a rut. But a lot of them tend to be the line where Jeeps and that kind of stuff are putting their tires. So I'll be sliding down into a rut, and there's the rock that I'm trying to avoid. And it just makes for an overall kind of poor experience. Man, I just love this jump. Woo! How slow can you go? Alright, that's enough ripping around this place for the day. Let's get back on the road and do some, you know, more responsible citizen kind of riding. I'm approaching 2,000 miles, so we're coming up on winter. And I don't know if you know this, but it's pretty hard to ride a bike in the snow. A lot harder than when the dirt's dry. Tried it last winter. Not a good time, would not recommend. Picking up bikes in the ice and slush and snow. Oh, what a cool guy. Told me I had a nice bike. Thank you, sir. Anyway, picking up bikes in like the slush and snow. Mud slush, pretty much, is what it turns into, is not fun. I try to keep it to, you know, when my trails are fairly clear, all that nonsense. But I'll go ahead and wrap things up here. I've been yapping at the camera for too long. I really hope you'll enjoyed seeing, you know, a little rip around fun on this thing. Kind of got to know what I'm going to be about, just riding trails, throwing up videos of it, and really just enjoying this Kove for all it's got. Messy rides. Thanks for pushing me to get this GoPro, man. I'm definitely enjoying recording some of this stuff, but I did have to say, why are you still rocking the stock dash coloring on your Kove? It's so boring. Get this, this is right in the settings. Nice black and red, cool kind of colorway. You just go down to settings, screen display, go to night, and change the UI mode from freedom to passion. It's a lot easier for me to pick out stuff on the screen like this than it is when it's full white.